Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside the Cage, where we bring you the latest and exciting updates of UFC. Team Conor McGregor loses again, now 0-3 on TUF 31. For all fight fans out there, it's been a very exciting 3 weeks on The Ultimate Fighter. You know, it's all about Team Chandler. Surprisingly, Michael Chandler's fighters have been on fire, defeating Conor McGregor's squad left and right. A feat for eyes. Whereas the latest victory came from Austin Hubbard, who showcased impressive striking skills to secure an undisputed decision win over Aaron McKenzie. It's pretty clear that experience is playing a significant role, as the veterans on Team Chandler continue to dominate the prospects on McGregor's team. Speaking of quick fights, the previous episodes didn't waste any time, as there were lightning-fast finishes, like Roosevelt Roberts stopping Nate Jennerman in mere seconds, and Cody Gibson's first-round knee that led to a ground finish. But this week, we finally got a fight that went the distance, adding some intensity to the mix. But can Team Chandler maintain this winning streak? Well, with 5 more weeks of the quarterfinals to go, it's unlikely they'll achieve a clean sweep. McGregor's team still has a chance to bounce back, as Trevor Wells gears up to face Timur Valiev next week. Valiev has had a short UFC run, and will be looking to make a statement against the prospect Wells. And let's not forget that this season of The Ultimate Fighter is building up to a future fight between McGregor and Chandler. While we don't have a set date for that clash just yet, we'll have to be patient. McGregor's return to the USADA testing pool means it might be a while before we see him back in the octagon. There you go, guys. Just stay tuned for more action-packed episodes and keep an eye on the evolving rivalry between Team Chandler and Team McGregor. It's shaping up to be an epic journey with some thrilling matchups along the way. Conor McGregor has less than 48 hours to ensure he'll fight at UFC 296. Let's catch some juicy news about Conor McGregor and his much-awaited return to the UFC. Hold on, guys, because it seems like his comeback might hit a major roadblock. Yep, you heard it right. If we talk about the last fight of McGregor, he was tapped out. His last fight was against Dustin Poirier back in 2021. At that moment, he, unfortunately, had to tap out due to a broken leg. Ouch! It was a very saddening situation for him and his millions of fans as well. Since then, we've been eagerly waiting for his triumphant return to the octagon, especially with talks of a potential showdown with the formidable Michael Chandler. But here's the point. You know, it turns out that McGregor hasn't even entered the USADA testing pool yet. What does that mean? Well, it means his chances of making it to UFC 296, slated for the end of 2023, are hanging by a thread. According to a tweet from MMA Verdict, he's got less than 48 hours to jump through that USADA testing hoop. If he doesn't make it in time, it's pretty much a done deal that we won't be seeing him in the octagon for that event. You can imagine the shockwaves that this news has sent through the MMA community. People are buzzing with questions about when McGregor will step back into the spotlight. Will the highly anticipated showdown with Chandler be pushed even further into the future? It's a waiting game now. Conor McGregor has 48 hours left to enter the USADA testing pool if he's going to fight at UFC 296, which is the final PPV of the year. It continued, if he doesn't enter the 6-month testing pool by Friday, he will not be fighting in 2023 per the rules of USADA. Now, there's a glimmer of hope that McGregor might just make it into the USADA testing pool before Friday's deadline, but let's face it, there's also a chance he won't. It's a nail-biting situation, no doubt about it. So, here's the deal. If McGregor wants to secure his spot at UFC 296 and face off against Chandler, one possible route would be he's granted an exemption. But here's where things get tricky. It seems like the USADA isn't too keen on handing out exemptions to just anyone, including our beloved, notorious McGregor. The USADA doesn't seem to have any intention of bending the rules for McGregor, should he need that exemption. They're playing hardball. It's a tough pill to swallow for all those die-hard McGregor fans who are hoping to see him back in action sooner rather than later. Avery Walker, USADA Director of Communications, said, McGregor is not enrolled in our testing pool and would have to be for 6 months unless an exception is granted, which we do not think would be applicable. But until we have concrete news, let's stay ourselves for the possibility that McGregor may not make it to UFC 296. It's a waiting game, and all we can do is keep our eyes peeled for any updates. So it's time to hold your breath and cross your fingers. We're all hoping that he takes the necessary steps, gets himself into that testing pool ASAP, and keeps the flame of his comeback alive. Man, the clock is ticking, and the fate of his UFC return hangs in the balance. Let's stay tuned for any updates and keep our fingers tightly crossed. The saga continues. Charles Oliveira urges Islam Makhachev to accept rematch on UFC Brazil card. After a stunning performance of Oliveira at the event, he is waiting for his next rival. Surely he did not waste his time in calling out his arch-rival Islam Makhachev. I mean, he knows about keeping the fire alive. As we all know, that Oliveira is the former undisputed lightweight champion and is currently ranked #1 in the division. What a high profile. He made a loud statement by co-headlining UFC 289 in Vancouver, Canada. He dominated Beneil Dariush with some ground strikes, sealing the victory in the first round. The Brazilian fighter is back in the winner's circle, and he's ready for his next challenge. And who better to challenge than the current lightweight title holder Makhachev? These two fighters have a history, with Makhachev defeating Oliveira and claiming the vacant lightweight title at UFC 280 last year in Abu Dhabi. It was an impressive second-round arm triangle submission win by the Russian's standout. Now, with Makhachev's recent win over Dariush at UFC 289, Oliveira is seizing the moment and throwing down the gauntlet. He wants a rematch, and he wants it on his home turf in Brazil. Oliveira is eyeing a return to Sao Paulo in November, possibly as part of a card headlined by a heavyweight showdown between Jailton Almeida and Curtis Blades. Indeed, an action-packed event. Let's not forget that Makhachev himself has been making waves since his victory over featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski earlier this year. He proved his mettle with a hard-fought, unanimous decision win, showing that he's a force to be reckoned with in the lightweight division. However, the stage is all set for a potential rematch between Oliveira and Makhachev. Will Makhachev accept Oliveira's challenge and venture into enemy territory in Brazil, or will he opt for a different path? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, the tension between these two fighters is intense, and we're in for a thrilling showdown if it happens. When I was the champion, I went to defend my title in his land, Esasic. Charles Oliveira told MMA Fighting's podcast, Trocacao Franca, during a recent interview. He, Islam Makhachev, said at the press conference he wanted to fight in Brazil, so why don't he come fight in November in Brazil? Tyson Fury offers to fight Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou on the same night. Last but not least, the boxing world's heavyweight king, Tyson Fury, has thrown his name into the mix. Certainly he claimed himself as a future opponent for none other than UFC heavyweight title holder Jon Jones. Talk about a crossover clash of the titans. The sparks started flying when Joe Rogan, the voice of the Octagon, made a bold statement suggesting that Jon Jones would dominate Tyson Fury if they ever faced off. Well, you can imagine that Fury, never one to back down from a challenge, fired back at Rogan, defending his honor as the boxing champion. But it didn't stop there. Jones, always ready to engage in a war of words, jumped into the ring and challenged Fury to back up his words by stepping inside the octagon. The tension between these two combat sports icons has been simmering, and now it seems like Fury is ready to take it to the next level. "I hear Jon Jones is looking for a fight. Me, I'm your man," Fury said on social media. Slowly, things are heating up. After Tyson Fury expressed his interest in fighting Jon Jones, UFC President Dana White struck in, stating that if both fighters are willing, he'd be more than happy to make the matchup happen. But let's not forget the complexities involved in organizing a high-stakes fight like this. However, it ensures the clash of two tough egos in the sports world. Here's a thought. How about this? How about I fight Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou on the same night? How about that? That's how much I value them two bums. Let's go, boys. All right, guys, that's all for today. Thanks for watching till the end. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to stay updated about our future videos. See you at the next one. Until then, goodbye.